Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to another Sims 4 house building video. In today's video, I am so excited to be bringing you guys the third and final part of my mini building Bridgerton series. I don't really know what to call this, but this is the third video here on my channel where I am building a house from the Netflix series Bridgerton. And this is, of course, the Featherington house. I've already done the Bridgerton house, I've done Lady Danbury's house, and this is just rounding out the trifecta of iconic Bridgerton families. So I am building the Featherington house, and I'm so excited about this one. As much as I have loved building the houses from this show, I'm quite excited to move on to something different. These houses are so big and they're quite hard to build. It's definitely a style that I'm not used to building in. I definitely am more comfortable building in a more modern style or just a more contemporary style, not necessarily modern. I don't know, are modern and contemporary the same thing? Because I always think of contemporary as like just run-of-the-mill houses that are built today, and then modern in my head is like big white glass, very ultra contemporary. I don't know. Does that make sense? Anyway, these houses are completely out of my comfort zone. This house in particular was quite tough for me. I don't know if it's because I've already built two others in a very similar style very recently, but building this one, I found it quite hard to be creative with it, if that makes sense. I felt like I was reusing a lot of the same kind of objects that I used in my previous two builds. I still think it turned out pretty cute, but it's definitely going to be the last house from Bridgerton that I build, at least for a little while. I'm excited to move away from this style. I'm excited to do other things in The Sims. I'm excited to try other types of builds. I have a couple of cool ones in mind that I want to do, but anyway, that's for later down the line. This right now is the Featherington house. If you don't know Bridgerton, be prepared for a few spoilers. I'm going to talk about the show a little bit. The day that I'm recording this voiceover is the night before part 2 of season 3 comes out. So I'm going to get into spoiler territory. If you haven't seen season 1 and 2 in the first half of this season, I'm going to talk some spoilers because you can't really talk about one of the members of the Featherington family without getting into some spoilers. So be warned. So this is, of course, the Featherington family, as I've said 100 times already, and I'm only 2 minutes into this voiceover. But the Featheringtons are an interesting family in the Bridgerton universe. They are a very unusual family, shall we say. They're not very good at keeping up to date with the current trends, or rather they tend to kind of march to the beat of their own drum, I guess you could say. They're a very extravagant family. They're very wealthy in some aspects. From the outside, they appear very wealthy. They have some money troubles, but they appear very wealthy. They run in the same circles as the Queen of England and the Bridgerton family and Lady Danbury and all these very, very wealthy people, but they have a lot of secrets. They definitely have some money troubles. They are definitely on the strange side. The mother of the family is very much hell-bent on getting her daughters married off and hopefully to someone very wealthy. She doesn't really care for their well-being. Well, I guess she does. In her own way, I think that she's looking out for her daughters by trying to make them marry wealthy because she has had so many financial issues. It's definitely an element of selfishness forcing her daughters to marry wealthy people. But I think in her own weird, wicked, kind of twisted way, I think it's kind of her own way of trying to protect her daughters from the hardships that she's gone through. But in doing all of that, she has kind of sidelined their happiness. And her youngest daughter, Penelope, I think is definitely most prone to fall victim to this because she is quite an intelligent woman. She's very well read, which is kind of frowned upon by the rest of her family. But Penelope is very much headstrong. And she's kind of an outlier in the family in the sense that she is very caring and she is very intelligent and knows exactly what she wants. But she tends to be pushed to the background because people look at her as kind of a spinster because she's getting older. And in this weird world of early 1800s, she's considered a spinster, even though she's only like 20, which is crazy. But anyway, Penelope is basically also the driving force of the entire show because she is, spoiler alert, Lady Whistledown, who is the gossip columnist of the show. She kind of runs upper class London in this era and in this show. And nobody knows that it's her. No one thinks it's the girl from the family that everyone kind of looks down on and the quote unquote wallflower of the family who gets overlooked by everyone. She's taking it all in and she's turning it into a business. And I love that for her. I think she is such a legend. She is by far my favorite character in the entire show. And I'm obsessed with her. And season 3 is all about her. She's definitely the most consistent character throughout the entire show in terms of how much the story focuses on her, because every season of Bridgerton, if you didn't know, focuses on a different member of the Bridgerton family. But season 3 is definitely Penelope's season, which is unusual because she's not one of the Featheringtons. She is going to likely, I don't know, I haven't read the books, I'm just purely going off of what I think, but she's going to marry one of the Bridgertons. Again, this is the night before season 3 part 2 airs, so I don't know what goes down. I don't know what happens. I don't know what's going to happen when Colin finds out that she's Lady Whistledown. But I definitely think it's on the horizon that Penelope is going to become Penelope Bridgerton. Penelope Bridgerton, that kind of has a nice ring to it. I like that. But anyway, onto this build. This build was tough. I'm not going to lie. I kind of struggled with this one. It's a much smaller house than the other two that I've built. But because I built those other 2 houses quite recently and they're very fresh in my brain, I think I found it hard to be creative with this one. So there's a lot of repetition in this build that I think existed in my other 2 builds. Like some of the decorations that I used, I tended to gravitate towards specific objects that I knew would fit this style. And unlike the Bridgerton house, I didn't have a lot to work off of with this one. So the inside, like Lady Danbury's house, is largely made up. It's largely my own design, whatever I thought would work. I do think that it works. I think that this house turns out really cute, but it's definitely not the most accurate thing in the world. And that is honestly purely down to laziness and not wanting to go back and scroll through 8 hours of a TV show trying to find aspects of a particular house in the background of different scenes or whatever. So I tried to do as much as I could from memory. I tried to include some of the key features in this house, but it's definitely not the most accurate thing I've ever built. I think I got the vibe down. Like, I think the main foyer in the house, like the main stairwell and stuff, looks pretty good. And I think kind of the main drawing room, I've done this in each of these Bridgerton videos. I still haven't Googled whether it's drawing or with drawing room. I've heard both. But in the main, like, living room upstairs, I think that looks pretty okay in terms of the show. And I tried to get Penelope's room to look as close as I could to the show, because I think they're the key rooms that are focused on in the show. We definitely see other areas in the house throughout the 3 seasons, but out of sheer laziness, I wasn't going to go finding those. But anyway, I weirdly think my favorite rooms in this house are the bathrooms. I don't know why. I actually don't even think that I recorded them, but I do think that they turned out really, really cute. I just think that they're nice. I think that they very much fit the style and aesthetic that I was going for. And doing things like yellows and golds and things like that, I don't tend to do. But I just think that it really paid off in the bathrooms for some reason. Also, I should say that this house is very, very yellow. It's kind of gross. I don't like it, but that is the Featherington style. They are a very extravagant bunch. I don't really know how to explain them. They dress very unusually, even by Bridgerton standards. They are pretty extreme. A lot of yellows, a lot of greens, a lot of florals, and not cute florals, like wild florals, but they definitely have their own distinct sense of style. And I tried to portray that as much as I could throughout the house. I wanted to really lean on that idea of the yellows. There's definitely areas of the house where it's more muted, and there's definitely areas where it's really turned up to 11. Like in one of Penelope's sister's rooms, it's just a big yellow mess, and I personally don't like it, but I think it kind of suits her character. So I just went with it. I don't know. I was really making this up as I went along. And I think in the end, it turned out pretty cute. Like with the Bridgerton house and Lady Danbury's house, I tried to get the outside of this house as accurate as I could, because there was enough screenshots that I could find where I could get it to a point where I think it looked pretty close to the show. It's definitely not perfect. I definitely think I did a better job in the other 2 builds, but this one is still cute. I'm still pretty happy with it. But yeah, I really sound like I'm dogging on my own build. I really do like this build. I wouldn't be sharing it if I didn't, but I'm just being honest. I don't know. I'm just saying whatever I think. God, this voiceover is not my best work, but I'm 10 minutes in and I'm not starting over because I could not be arsed. But regardless, I really hope you guys enjoy this build. It's a real labor of love. Like I said, it's part 3 in my mini series of building houses from Bridgerton. I really wanted to emphasize how much I love this show. My Bridgerton house build has done very, very well on my channel. It has really boosted my channel, and the knock-on effect has been really amazing across my channel. I've had a lot of videos that have gotten significantly more views than I have ever before, and I'm just really grateful for that. So I'm kind of riding that high. Maybe I'm milking a dead horse. That's not the phrase. My brain, I swear to God, I always do these voiceovers after I come home from work, and it's just never a good idea. So I'm not milking a dead horse. I'm milking the cow for everything it's worth. I'm beating the dead horse. But point being, I'm really trying to ride this Bridgerton train as long as it will let me. But I think that this is my stop. I gotta get off the train here. So I think 3 builds from Bridgerton is enough. And I hope you guys agree. If you guys really want me to build something else, I definitely will. I'm really paying attention to what you guys are saying in the comments. I'm not always the best at replying to comments, but I do take note of almost everything you guys say. I'm definitely taking feedback on board. I'm taking ideas for future builds on board. I'm taking it all on board. So please leave a comment if you want to see more Bridgerton. If you don't, if you agree with me and think that I've entirely beaten this dead horse. But anyway, I've really enjoyed this. I hope you guys have too. I hope you guys like this build as much as you have the other two. And if you guys do have any ideas for future builds that you want to see from me, definitely leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you have any like house from a TV show or a movie or a general style or whatever that you want to see from me, I'm more than happy to give anything a go. I'm making a list. I've gotten a lot of comments of different suggestions over the last couple of weeks, and I'm making a list, and I'm going to slowly work my way through it. I'm going to try to keep up what I'm doing at the moment of uploading every 7 to 10 days. It's just all I can manage at the moment with work and things, because these videos take me a very, very long time, which is another reason why I'm excited to move away from Bridgerton, because these houses take so long to build. The Bridgerton house was definitely the longest one I've ever done. I think I had 12 something hours of footage. I can't remember exactly. I can't remember how much footage I had versus how much time I spent playing the game, but it was far too much, plus editing time and everything like that. I probably spent close to 20 hours on that video, which is crazy. And then the Lady Danbury house wasn't far behind. This one was definitely a shorter build because I was kind of used to the style or whatever, but I'm excited to move away and hopefully onto things that are less time consuming. Because I've never had to put that kind of time into builds before. Well, no, that's not true. I've definitely put similar amounts of time into builds, like my American Horror Story house or the house from Call Me By Your Name. Those were huge undertakings, but I'm just excited to build something smaller. I'm excited for something a bit more quote unquote normal. I know someone suggested the house from Young Sheldon. There's the house from the movie Signs, which that movie is so weird. Sorry, little side tangent here. If you haven't seen the movie Signs by M. Night Shyamalan, the director, it is an acid trip of a movie. But I watched it the other day. My brother came to visit me in London, and we watched it together, and I've never been so perplexed by a movie. It is an alien invasion movie, but it's also kind of horror. And then there's like this biblical aspect to it, and like the idea of fate. And it's so bizarre. But if you haven't seen it, it's actually quite funny in some parts, like both laughing at it and with it. So if you are looking for a new movie to watch, definitely check that out. It's one to watch. But the house that movie is set in, the entire time I was watching the movie, I was like, I'm building this in The Sims 100%, because it looked fun and it's a style that I really like. It's like those typical, like, I'm going to insult someone here because I'm about to say something and I don't know if I'm right, but in my head it's like a Kansas house, like a house from the Kansas in America. which in my head is always just Smallville, like the DC TV show, and like Superman's childhood home. And I don't know, that's just always where my mind goes. I don't know if that's right, I don't know if it's wrong, but that's just always where my mind goes. And it's that style of house. Anyway, that was a complete side tangent. That's just one of the other houses that I'm thinking of building. I'm also looking into, again, the Conjuring house, which I know I've said before, but I think I'm finally ready to actually build that. I started building it before and lost the footage and then I gave up on it, but I remember it was going well, so I think I want to try that one again. And I have a couple more stewing in my brain and on my list. So definitely stay tuned if you want to see more videos from me. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, share it with a friend, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. I'm going to wrap up this video, this voiceover rather, here and play out the rest of the video with some music and some screenshots and things. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you're watching this from. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.